What's going on, Daily Huddle people, my Huddleites? Lean in, lean in, lean in. You know what? People's always talking about exercise. Exercise. I need to be exercising. Exercise. Let's do some exercise. Exercise. Now, real quick, exercise is super important, crazy important. You need to do it. Vince will talk about that more later. But when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to working on heart disease and blood pressure, when it comes to cancer, listen, when it comes to all these things, we're going to show you what it's like if you have someone that runs and exercises strenuous every day for 14 years, or they just sit around eating plants. Let's see what their vitals will do. Roll that intro.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Daily Huddle. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning to each and every one of you that has made the decision to join us here on the Daily Huddle this morning. My name is Vince Rountree, myself and my co-host, Mr. Rawlin Vanatta. The two of us are the hosts of the Health, Wellness, and Vitality Show, and each and every Tuesday morning at this time, 9 o'clock, we will bring you some information that we hope will enrich your health and your life just by paying attention and following what we say. Hey, we're here. Thank you for being here. And so, before we get started, we will start the day like we always start the day with my man, Stan the Man. And I just want to know, how are you today, my brother?
I like this word. I am grateful, man, because I am as I say I am.
Grateful. Being grateful. That is such a powerful way to be, is grateful, because it's impossible to carry negative and nagging thoughts when you're grateful. Those two things can't exist the same place at the same time. So that's a wonderful way to be. And you are as you say you are. That's a wonderful thing.
I am.
Rawlin, what time is it, man? Tell me the time. I need to know what time it is.
I think that it's right now, this man. I think it's right now. I just have this feeling that right now is right now.
The only time that matters. We can't affect the future yet because it hadn't gotten here. We can't change the past. The only moment that you live in is the right now, and we're right here. Well, today, we're going to have a conversation today about diet and exercise. Now, let me be perfectly clear. You need to exercise. But you need to exercise because as we age, the body gets weaker. And that happens whether you like it or not. As you get age, if you're over 50 years old, it actually starts in your 40s, but certainly from 50 and over, every year you are 1% weaker than you were the year before if you don't exercise. 1% doesn't sound like much, but when that compounds and compounds and compounds, year after year after year, you're losing the strength. But you can affect that. Not only can you not lose strength, if you exercise, you can gain strength. And the only way to strengthen your bones is through resistance training and exercise, along with proper nutrition. It's the body. You ever on your hands right here get a blister from raking leaves or from exercise and doing pull-ups? You get a blister and the skin comes off. It's very painful. It grows back as a callus. You see, when the body repairs itself, it repairs itself stronger than it did before. And the same thing with your muscles. If you exercise, you're tearing them down and they build back stronger. So as you age, if you exercise, you can increase your strength if you exercise. But know that over 40 and certainly over 50, if you're not exercising, you are losing strength if you don't exercise. So I want you to exercise. Let's be perfectly clear that exercise is necessary for ideal health, especially if you're over 40 years old. Okay, so want to make sure that we got that part. Exercise is necessary for optimal health. Necessary for optimal health. Now, one of the questions we get all the time has to do with losing weight and exercise versus losing weight and diet. Now, on that one, diet wins all day long. I want you to do both. Let's be clear, do both. Along with good sleep, now you're in the realm of healthy lifestyle. The problem that I have is that so many people believe that I just got to work. If I work out, if I run enough miles, then I eat whatever I want. I went to the gym today. I can cheat a little bit because I worked out. Now I can have that ice cream. Now I can have that cake. Now I can have that cheeseburger because I went to the gym today. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Then you wonder, well, why am I not losing weight? I'm going to the gym. And you forgot that I treated myself. I deserved it. Well, don't look at it as what you deserve. If the unhealthy food is your reward, you got to change the way you think. Reward your body. Because your body, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your arteries, the 60,000 miles of arteries, how are you going to treat them? Oh, I'm going to treat, okay, you treat your taste buds and then maybe you enjoy that for a few minutes. Your heart got to deal with it for a long time. Your kidneys still has to deal with that. Your liver has to deal with that. And so by exercising and retraining your mind to eating for a healthy heart, eating for a healthy life, eating to take care of this one body that you have. You guys have heard me sign off. You got one body in this lifetime. Treat it like a temple that it is. Treat it in a way that it can last you 80, 90, 100 years, and 80, 90, 100 good years. Not the last 20 of them, 30 of them, 40 of them in pain. And when you can shift your mindset to, I am eating to nourish this blessing of a machine that I have, to give it what it needs. And oh, by the way, if you listen to Rawlin Vanatta, he gonna tell you how to make that food taste amazing. So it's not like I'm asking you to eat nasty food that doesn't taste good to have the health. No, just the opposite. You get to eat delicious, incredible food that will nourish your body, help you lose weight, help you fight off disease. Rawlin, what you got for us today?
All right, guys. Let me ask y'all a question. So here in just a second, we're going to really bring it home. This is going to be real. This is going to be real, okay? We're going to talk about, we're going to do this fast, so we can't go into too much detail. But we're going to show you, if you notice the title today, the title was about if you have an exercising person that's crazy exercise versus someone that just eats plant-based, but is a couch potato, so to speak. We're gonna put it to the test. And let me ask you a question. If you had a petri dish just full of cancer cells, okay, and they had people that exercised like crazy for 14 years, but they ate junk. And then they also had plant-based eaters that really barely exercised, right, for 14 years, okay? And then they took their blood and they dropped it onto the petri dishes full of cancer. Would you like to know which one just destroyed the cancer and which one didn't? Like, that'd probably be a valuable thing, right? Like, especially if anybody's ever had cancer in their family or around them, or they've dealt with it. It's a terrible, horrible disease. And most people would probably prefer to have the blood running through their veins that just destroys cancer, right? Like, would that be helpful to anybody? Type in the chat if that'd be helpful. Type that on Facebook if that would be helpful. Number two, since heart disease is the number one killer on planet Earth, right? Number one killer. Like, more people die from heart disease than any other disease, okay? So people's already died from heart disease since y'all have been watching the Huddle this morning, okay? That's how many die, okay? Now, here's the crazy thing. Vince is going to share you a study where those couch potato vegans versus people that exercise like crazy for 14 years. And they looked on the inside of their veins and their arteries, and they measured which one was better. Y'all think that'd be valuable to find out which one was better, exercise or the eating? Well, you're going to find that out here in a second. On top of that, we're going to cover real quickly how ridiculous and ludicrous it is. How many of y'all have thought about exercise as being the pathway to losing weight? Like, how many of y'all have been like, I got these extra pounds on me, I got to do some exercise. I've been needing to do some exercise. I need to do exercise, get some of this poundage off. We're going to knock that one out right now this second. We're going to backtrack and we're going to do the other two. Okay? Does that sound fair to everybody? Type that in the chat if that's fair. Okay? Now, here's what's going to happen next. Okay? I'm gonna give y'all a check. Okay? Let's pretend like you wanted to burn in an entire year 87,360 calories. Everybody type that. Type that. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching this on the Huddle, I want you to type this number in the chat. 87,360. 87,360. Now, what's that number represent? I'll tell you what that number represents. That number represents the amount of calories that you would burn if you did not eat for 43 days in a row. Okay? Remember when in the scriptures when Jesus fasted for 40 days, right? If y'all are ready to go fast and not eat any food for 40 days, 43 days actually, 87,360, that's right. Okay, 87,360. Now listen to this, guys. That's the equivalent of the amount of calories that you would be removing from your diet if you fasted 43 days. Now, here's the crazy thing, okay? There's three ways to accomplish that. And I bet everyone would agree that if you didn't eat for 43 days, do y'all think you'd lose weight? Like, if you didn't eat for 43 days, you think you'd lose some weight? You'd be like a little twig. You'd be losing weight like crazy. All right? Now, here's the crazy thing. Now, everybody probably would consider that a very difficult thing and perhaps a dangerous thing to not eat for 43 days, right? But you'd be sure you lose some weight, okay? So let's say, okay, that you wanted to exercise that much off rather than not eat, okay? Well, how many miles would you have to run? to burn the equivalent amount of calories than not eating for 43 days. Now think about this for a second. You would have to run 873 miles. Did y'all hear that? 873 miles. Now let's break that down for a second, okay? Let's see how many miles a day that would mean. So 873.6 miles divided by 365. So if you're willing to run 2.4 miles per day for 365 days out of the year, congratulations. You burned the same number of calories as if you didn't eat for 43 days. But you have to run 2.4 miles, 365 days in a row. It's like, Rawlin, man, that's intense. No Sundays off, no holiday, no Sundays off, no holidays off, none of that. Now, I bet y'all would prefer to have an even easier way. And I'll show you that easier way. You ready for it? Remove 2 tablespoons of oil a day for 365 days of the year. What, Rawlin? 1 tablespoon of oil is 120 calories. So that's 240 calories per day. That's the equivalent of running 2.34 miles a day. Okay? So if you want the easiest path to lose weight, it's the food. It's not the carbs. Vince, I got a question for you.
Yeah, man.
How many calories per gram of protein are they? 4 calories per gram. Everybody hold their hand up and say 4 calories per gram of protein.
4.
Hey, Vince, what about carbohydrates? You know, those carbs that everybody has to avoid. How many calories per gram? How many?
4.
4
calories for each gram of carbohydrate, 4 calories for each gram of protein.
Okay. Now, how many calories per gram of fat, oil, saturated fat, the fat that's in beef and bacon and pork and fish and chicken and boneless, skinless chicken, right? Like the fat that's in all those things. How many calories per gram for fat?
9.
9? What?
9.
So over double. That's what you're telling me.
Over double.
Over the double. And everybody's worried about their carbs and exercising like crazy when all they got to do is remove a little bit of fat and they get over double the results.
Exactly.
How hard is it to remove 2 tablespoons of oil a day? People's like, I don't use 2 tablespoons of oil. Well, I bet you use 2 tablespoons just when you stir fry some veggies. I bet you use 2 tablespoons of oil when you, if you ever looked at the back of a dressing, you eat some salad. People eat salad and they're like, I don't understand. I'm exercising like crazy and I'm eating salad and I ain't losing weight. Well, you're putting oil on that salad, right? And the bigger the salad, the more oil you put on it, right? Use the oil and vinegar. I'm being clean. I'm being healthy. I'm just eating salad. Well, you just put the highest calorie substance on the planet on your rabbit food, right? As people like to say. So it is the least effective lever. Imagine you have 3 levers at losing weight. And it can be by removing fat from your diet, specifically in the form of oil and animal proteins or animal fats. Or you can exercise like crazy, right? Or you can avoid your carbs, right? Or we put fourth one, or you can just not eat at all for 43 days. Like, which one is the easiest one, right? Just remove a little bit of oil every day, right? And you're going to burn 87,360 calories in a whole year. Now, if exercise is not enough of something to just a big enough domino to push you over, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I gotta listen to these guys. I gotta listen to these boys. I've been trying to lose weight we have this weight loss challenge. We got another one coming up, I think on the 12th of October. And it was like, wait a minute. Like them boys take 200 people or more every single month and they all lose weight? Yeah, pretty much all of them lose weight. How they do it? Eating below the red line. Okay, well, maybe that's not enough. Maybe the math that I just showed you is not good enough. Well, let's take it a step further. Let's say, what's a better effective method? Exercising to be healthy to avoid cancer, or changing the way you eat. So Vince, tell me a little bit about the experiment that Dr. Michael Greger talks about, specifically about cancer. Okay, can you talk a little bit about that?
So there is a study of cancer, exercise, and diet that Michael Greger talks about, and the understanding that there is a program measurement for cancer cell growth. Before we get into talking about that, have to understand what is the definition of cancer. What is cancer? How do you define, what is cancer? What is cancer? Cancer is uncontrolled cell growth, right? Cells are growing out of control. Cells are growing and they don't die. That's a problem. Cells are supposed to have a life cycle where cells are created, cells have a lifespan, and then cells die. The programmed cell growth is called apoptosis. And there are a couple of things that you can do to initiate apoptosis, which is cell growth. One of them is exercise. Exercise alone helps to program cell growth in a healthy way, right? Because you want your cells to be created, you want your cells to have a certain lifespan, and then you want those cells to die. If the cells don't die and they just keep growing out of control, that is cancer. It's uncontrolled cell growth. Well, we know for a fact that eating a healthy diet, that by itself initiates apoptosis. Exercise also initiates apoptosis. Well, the ideal thing to do, as I open, is both. Ideally, you want to do both, exercise and eat a plant-based diet. But what many people want to know is, well, I want to eat whatever I want. And if I just run and run and run, can't I get the same level of cancer cell growth than if I don't do much of anything and eat this plant-based diet? And the answer is eating the plant-based diet causes the body to initiate more apoptosis than running 48 miles a week. Now, there is nothing wrong with doing both. I mean, if you want to exercise, and I would like for you to do that. But if you have to choose one, the most effective is plant-based diet. You can't run enough to rival the effects of killing cancer of apoptosis than eating a plant-based diet.
Hey, let me ask you a quick question, Vince.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question.
All right.
So you're telling me that someone could run 48 miles a week. That's a lot of miles.
It's a lot of miles. I mean, what's that? 8 miles a day times 6 miles. 8 miles times 6 days to get 40. That's a lot.
Yeah. So if you're going to take one day off, you're going to take Sunday off, and you're going to run 6 days a week, you have to, and that means that you would average 8 miles a day. So you could run 8 miles a day. That takes you a little bit of time, takes a little bit of effort for most people, right? It takes a lot of effort for me, right? Okay, now here's the deal. I don't know about y'all, right? Okay, now think about this. Think about this. Woo! Or you cannot eat your lemon pepper chicken wings. Choose a potato instead, right? Eat a whole food plant-based diet, and you will be more successful at having your body kill off cancer or initiating apoptosis than if you ran 48 miles a week. Now, let me ask you a question. Which one's easier? Like, get yourself out of bed every morning, running 8 miles, or eating some broccoli and beans and potatoes, some beans, greens, and berries, right? You're going to eat beans, greens, and berries in a good tasting smoothie, or are you going to run 48 miles a week, 8 miles a day, 6 days a week for like what? And these people did that for 14 years. It wasn't like for 3 months. It was for 14 years that they tested this. What?
Yeah.
All right, Vince, let's keep going. We're running out of time. We got 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, can you share the other one, or should we push it to next week?
No, we'll push that. We'll push that one later. But because we got 3 minutes, which we could wrap up right now. But I'll ask if anybody's got a question that'll put us over time. But if anybody got a question, we'll open up for question. If not, I think we can go ahead and wrap up and do so on time. But before we do that, I want to know if anybody has any questions. Diet versus exercise, and our preference. My preference is diet and exercise. But if you got to choose, plant-based diet will do you a lot more good. Any virtual hand raises or any questions that we have on that, or should we go ahead and wrap up on time? Okay, Celero 5G phone has a question. Come on off mute and let's talk to me.
Good morning. This is CC. How do you get rid of being hungry on the plant-based diet?
Eat more food. Eat more food. Eat below the red line and eat as much as you want. Eat below the red line. Be careful of the oil. Be careful of the butter. Make sure there's no cheese in there. Eat below the red line, but eat as much as you want. Eat as many. If you want an extra plate, if you want a second plate, eat a second plate. If you want a third plate, eat a third plate. If you want an extra meal, eat an extra meal. Eat as much as you want. Being hungry should never impede your weight loss if you are eating below the red line. Now, if you are still gaining weight, then my suggestion is write down everything you eat for a week. And as you're writing it down, you'll probably start to see, okay, I got that little bit of pasta coming in here. All right. Well, maybe I'm eating more nuts. There's some avocado sneaking in. And I didn't realize when I bought this item right here, I read on the back, there's a little bit of oil in there. And so it is really easy, especially if you're not making your own food. Now, if you go out and to a restaurant, the odds are, or you go to the grocery store and you're buying something that is prepared, the odds are really, really good that there's some oil sneaking in there that you didn't realize that was sneaking into your diet. But if you're eating below the red line, eat as much as you want. You should never be hungry, and you can still lose weight up until you start getting to your ideal weight. Now, as you start getting to really close to your ideal weight, then we might have to institute some other techniques. But eating below the red line and eating as much as you want, and you should not be hungry.
And I would also throw in there, a lot of people that have that question for us, typically they're eating a lot of fruits and veggies, but they're still avoiding the starchy foods, the starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, brown rice. Those rolled oats, those whole grains and starchy vegetables tend to make you feel full longer. So, if you're only eating celery, for example, and eating apples, you're going to get hungry quicker and you'll stay hungry longer. So those starchy vegetables, and a lot of people that's been told so long, you can't eat a baked potato, or you can't eat a white potato, or it'll make you gain weight. It's not the potato, it's the butter that goes on the baked potato. So eat the baked potato, put salt and pepper on it. Don't put the butter on it. Don't put the sour cream on it. You'll lose weight like crazy. Eat 3 baked potatoes for supper. You're going to love it. Grill you some veggies with no oil, put them on top of it. You're good. Put you some salsa on top. Oh man, boom. You got this giant meal and you're not going to be hungry. And trust me, you're not going to be hungry if you eat 3 taters. So go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, no, that's good. I just, there's a question in the chat that came from Facebook that said, what if your cholesterol doesn't go down? And on cholesterol, I will say this, that there is a condition called familial hypercholesterolemia. And in that condition, the stats are 1 out of 250 people have familial hypercholesterolemia. And in that condition, doesn't matter, you can be 100% plant-based, eating all of the right foods, and you will still have high cholesterol. That is not common. Again, 1 out of 250 people have that, which means 249 out of 250 people, if you eat a plant-based diet, you can't control your cholesterol. There is a small percentage of people that can't. It doesn't matter. They will have high cholesterol regardless. And the only way that you will know is if you eat a 100% whole food plant-based diet for 3 months and then remeasure your cholesterol. If it's still high, then you're one of the unlucky 1 out of 250. Did you have something you wanted to add to that, Rawlin?
I just want to ask you a question. Is that 250 number? I'm just curious. Is that out of all people or a collection of people that all have high cholesterol?
No, that's the database of all people.
Okay, I was curious. I didn't know that, so I was curious.
Yeah, one out of 250 people have familial hypercholesterolemia, and it's one of those things. There's a run in my genes. That's one thing that that if you have that genetically, there's nothing you could. So that person should be on medication. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And if if it were me, Robin, I would reach out to plant-based telehealth. Tell them Vince Rountree and Food Fix University sent you. But I would reach out to plant-based telehealth and tell them, and then see if they've got anything else, because they understand the power of plant-based nutrition.
No, by the way, we don't get a kickback for saying that either.
No, we sure don't. It's just that I like knowing that there are doctors that will take the power of plant-based nutrition into their diagnosis and prognosis and recommendations. So that's that. So, all right.
All right, tear off your glasses and let's close out.
We are 4 minutes over. And so I will end, as I always do, by reminding you that, see this? This is my body. I only got one. Literally, you live in your body and you only got one body. In this lifetime, anyway. Maybe you believe in reincarnation. I don't know. But in this lifetime, you only have one body. If you do not take care of it, where are you going to live? You only got one body in this lifetime. So eat as though your life, your very life, depends on it, because it does. My name is Vince Rountree. Myself and Rawlin Vanatta, we are the co-host of the Health, Wellness, Vitality Show. Thank you for joining us here on the Daily Huddle on Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock, and join the Daily Huddle at 9 o'clock each and every weekday morning so that we can enrich your life with some facts, knowledge, and information that means something to you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Stan.